General managers in college football have certainly come a long way in the new college football landscape. Nothing exemplifies this better than Stanford's GM, former NFL quarterback Andrew Luck. He showed how much power he truly has when he announced the firing of former head coach Troy Taylor. Not only do these GMs have an extreme amount of power nowadays at some institutions, but also the money that they're making is an example of how important they are to the universities and their football programs. For example, North Carolina is paying Michael Lombardi $1.5 million, which is the highest known salary of any general manager in college football currently. And there are a ton of GMs who are making comparable money to that of Michael Lombardi or close to that, which just shows and tells you that the game is headed in a different direction. The game is heading towards a revenue share model, which mirrors something similar to the NFL. So now the structure of the administration, the structure of the coaching staff has to mirror that of the NFL. NFL teams have general managers. Those general managers typically have hiring and firing power over an organization. You haven't seen a ton of these schools make the GM the primary hiring and firing guy, but you have seen a ton of universities hire high-paying general managers to manage their roster, to manage the salary cap, to manage all of the things that are going to be coming in the new landscape following the House settlement. Another aspect that exemplifies how extraordinary the change that's happening in college football with the general manager position is that historically a general manager was somebody who used to be a coach, or somebody who was wanting to be a coach, or somebody who was getting into recruiting. It was the recruiting director, the recruiting coordinator. Now in modern college football, the general manager is somebody who probably has NFL executive experience. Let's go back to Michael Lombardi, somebody who has 30 years of NFL experience under their belt. Or let's look at the new Oklahoma general manager, Jim Nagy, the former executive of the Senior Bowl, a former NFL scout himself, being paid a lot of money to manage Oklahoma's roster and make sure that they have the best pieces possible to win. These are just two recent examples, but there are a ton littered across the college football landscape of general managers with professional sports experience managing the rosters and making sure that these coaches have the best players available and making sure that the money's being divvied out evenly, fairly, making sure that they're hitting that revenue share number. Do we eventually get into a minor league system? I mean, who knows where this college football landscape is going to go? There's a whole lot of things going on in college football right now. Nobody knows what's going to happen at the end of the day. But I think some of the changes that are happening in college football, they very closely mirror the NFL. And I think it's no surprise that we eventually made it to something like this, a pay-for-play model, basically. Nobody wanted it to be pay-for-play. Everybody wanted it to be name, image, and likeness. But as we've seen over the last 4 or 5 years, that just isn't practical. You know, with all the money that's being thrown at these players, with all the money that's being spent in college football, you really need somebody outside of the head coach who can manage the roster, who can manage the pay that's being paid out, who can be the middle person with the agents, with the collectives, who can be that person for the head coach that's going to manage all the money, that's going to manage all the roster gymnastics, all of that good stuff. A coach now has the power at the Power 5 level to say, Mr. General Manager, this is what I want on my roster. This is what I'm looking for. These are the type of players that I'm using. That general manager typically probably has a staff that he's working with, and they're going to go out and find the roster and players that a head coach says they want. But it is a collaboration between the head coach and the general manager. At some universities, these general managers do have power over the head coach. But as everybody knows in college football, the head coach still holds value. Their job matters, and they have things that they can do that a general manager typically cannot do, like coaching a football team, knowing the X's and O's, knowing what players they need to execute those X's and O's. Those are the things that a head coach is good at. A general manager is good at budgeting, money distribution, roster building, seeking out talent, all that good stuff. So it's a collaboration. It's mirroring the NFL. It's a new look in college football, and you know, we're just scratching the surface on what it's gonna be, but the money being paid to some of these GMs is absolutely crazy. You guys let me know what you guys think about the general manager position in modern college football, and I will catch you guys next time. See you later.